Alright guys, GunFather here. We're out here on the range for another episode of Firearms Friday. Well, this week for Firearms Friday we're going to be discussing this awesome little Muzzelite Bullpup 1022. This thing is at its heart just a standard Ruger 1022 in a Muzzelite Bullpup stock configuration. It's got a 1022 barreled action, and it actually moves the trigger assembly from the 1022 from back here to up here, making it a bullpup, making it eject behind the trigger assembly, and takes a standard length 1022 and considerably shortens it, making it much more pointable, maneuverable. Any of you guys that are Tavor shooters or something like that, this may be, if you're looking for a lower cost option for something to train with or just plink around with and kind of have the same feeling as your Tavor, this may be right up your alley, maybe exactly what you're looking for. So guys, enough talking about it. Let's do some shooting. Here in a little bit we'll take this thing apart and I will show you the insides of it and show you exactly how this thing works, and we'll talk as we shoot. So let's do this, guys. Alright guys, let's plink around here our little 1022. Alright. I gotta love this thing. Guys, these things come also, you can get these stocks for a number of different guns. Ruger actually even makes one for their Mini 14, so you could actually have a 223 5.56 gun in this bullpup configuration with the Ruger Mini 14. I think they also make one for like a Marlin Model 60. Now obviously you're not going to have the magazine coming out because it's a tubular fed gun. You know, it may not be as cool looking, but still, in its own right, pretty cool. Alright guys, let's get into this thing. To take this thing apart, you need two tools. A good set of Allen wrenches and a good set of pliers. And you actually don't even need the pliers unless you have the optic installed on it, because there's a nut right here that tightens the optic base down to the sight rail. But to take this thing apart, it's extremely simple. There are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Allen head screws, and like I said, your nut here, and the whole assembly comes apart, and we're going to take a look inside this thing. So I'll go ahead and take this thing apart and we'll take a look. Alright guys, well here it is. She's totally disassembled. I'll show you how this thing works. Like I said, it is literally just a standard 1022 barreled action that fits right down inside this thing. Now guys, this 1022, I actually bought this from a young kid who thought he was doing something cool and cutting the muzzle down, so I actually had to have a barrel extension made for this to keep it within legal length. But a Ruger 1022 youth model is exactly this length and works, it fits perfectly inside here and will leave you with the exact same length that this gun is configured in. All you do, it's really simple. The gun comes apart, two halves. You take your 1022 barreled action, you set it right down inside the rails of the gun. I actually made a little shim because I had a little bit of play in it, so I made a little shim. And this is an older Muzzelite stock. The newer ones, from what I understand, there is absolutely no play, but I've heard a lot of people talk about the older ones having some play in them, so I actually made a little shim to shim it up. But you can get these the newer versions of this are, supposedly, they've fixed all that. So you take your 1022, your barreled action, you set it in there, and this piece right here is actually what moves your trigger assembly. Where's my little pin? Okay. You take this and you set it right around your 1022 trigger. Take this pin, place it right in front of the trigger, and that is what is actually going to engage your original 1022 trigger. This fits right down inside this rail and moves your trigger assembly up to here. Now, this does add a little bit of weight to the trigger pull, so what I like to do, take some good grease, grease up these rails real good, do it on both sides. And that makes it so that even if it does add some weight to it, to your trigger pull, it is such a slight bit of difference that you're not gonna notice it. Come on, David. All right. Now, all you do, take your other piece here, put it on top, put your screws back in, and you've got a 1022 Bullpup. So guys, hope y'all enjoyed that. Let's load up some more mags and load another mag here and do some more plinking. One of my favorite things to do, guys, out here is just plink around. It don't take long to run through these mags when you're having fun, guys. It really don't. Man, I love this little setup, guys. This thing been an awesome little rig. Like I said, you know, by adding that frame rail in there and everything with the moving the trigger assembly, you do add just a little bit of weight to your trigger pull, but you grease it up good enough, you really don't notice it. And you know, you can get so many drop-in parts for a 1022 nowadays that, I mean, it's really, you know, you can put a lighter trigger in it if that's an issue for you guys. But I hope you all have enjoyed this review. If you guys have one of these, I mean, you take this thing to the range, it always turns some heads. You can get one of these things and configure it. You know, a 1022, you know, about $200, $225, depending on what model you get. And then these stocks, you can get them for, depending on where you look online, about $120 is about the average price from what I can tell. Now, like I said, this is an older one. I've had this thing for about 10 years. They've changed them around a little bit in the newer versions, but still basically looks the exact same, and just a great little rig, guys. So, hope y'all enjoyed this episode of Firearms Friday. If y'all like this stuff, please remember to rate, comment, subscribe, and share. Give me that thumbs up button if you really like this stuff. Hit that subscribe button. We do this every week. We've got Firearms Friday. We've got Trick Shot Tuesdays. I have a lot of fun doing this. Hope y'all enjoy watching it, and see y'all next week. GunFather out.